Hello beautiful and lovely gamers, my name is Jonal. Today we are taking a look at another coaching. It is a 3981 SR game, meaning it is his promo game to GM and also the plea. This comes from Tommy B, which is one of the old school and very established people on the Discord community. And when I saw a game where he failed his promo, I had to take a look at it. As he said, he felt it was a really close game, and he felt that there was plenty more he could have done to win this game. And I think it also is a very interesting VOD. It's a Hanzo and May VOD. I would personally be taking a look at actually the map that he won. So the first map that he actually won is the one that I will break down, because I think that's where both he can learn some from it, even though it's on Hanzo, which was not a hero that he played later on. It's a little bit Hanzo, a little bit Kree. And also because it teaches a lot of other people what he could have done better, but also something that everybody should try to adapt, and how good he is at using his aim properly. Like, he's properly aiming and properly controlling and locking down stuff. He's playing very carefully, very calculated, but there's a lot of stuff that can be fixed on. Of course, before the video properly starts, and before we start this breakdown, a like on the video helps greatly. It helps share this content, so hopefully more people can see this kind of stuff, and helps a lot against YouTube algorithm. We've been growing crazy as of late. Even though I'm still a small content creator, the growth has been crazy. Thank you guys for the amazing support. If you want to see more Overwatch content, the best way to do that is liking the video, commenting, interacting with it so it keeps getting spread out, so to get more views, it's more favorable in the algorithm, and subscribing to the channel. That way I know that you guys want to see more coaching, more breakdowns like this, and I will continue doing them. Of course, on our Discord server, if you want to get coached yourself, there's a hashtag coaching submission channel. You go into that channel and you can drop down your entire thing. There is a form pinned which you can fill out. It's really just like the name of the account and which replay code you're giving me and so on. Fill that out. Remember, it resets every patch. So fill that out, drop it there, and there's a chance I will take a look at it in an upcoming episode. Now, of course, tell me down in the comment section as well, what hero do you want to see upcoming? And what notes did you learn from this game? What comments do you have? That way we can kind of see what other people are thinking, both against about the VOD itself, mistake that you spotted that I might have jumped over, and also, of course, what heroes you want to see in an upcoming episode. That way I know what you guys are voting for. Of course, what you guys vote for is what I will try to pick. Now, what I really want to focus on is how well he's playing, because I think there's a lot of people that can learn from how well he's playing this game. But also I want to focus a lot about him, how more active he should be. He should be more active to have more impact on the map. And also I want him, or I want you, Tommy, to improve and make your mouse a little bit more active. Essentially what I mean is, instead of being very static with how you're looking and where you're aiming and so on, I want you to move your mouse around more, especially in those downtime moments, to essentially increase your APM, right? Your action per minute. If there's downtime or you're not doing anything, moving your mouse around will help you get awareness where your team is, might give you awareness where the opposing team is, and generally give you a better, essentially more knowledge about what is going on the map itself, so you can make educated decisions from that, instead of making a decision without knowing if something going on behind you on your right side, without knowing where your team is. So we're starting here. This is the team comp. We're playing Hog Zarya currently. I think that it will swap to Hog Ball later. We have a Tracer, we have Zenyatta, we have a Mercy. This is a really great comp for Hanzo. We have Discord Orb and damage boost. We have some pressure for a Tracer, and then we have two tanks fishing around. However, we don't have a very strong frontline main group, so he has to play more careful, especially if they have something like they have here, where they have a Ball, they have a Tracer, they have a Pharah, right? And all of those are very good at diving, and then on top of that they have a Hog and a Brig, which can very quickly deny him a lot of space. So while there are opportunities for him here as a Hanzo, it's also a very scary one. So it's kind of like one of these where he has to play it a little bit slower and a little bit safer to make sure he's not getting dived, make sure he's not getting hooked, or pushing into an area where the Brig can stun him and he can therefore get swarmed very quickly and die. So let's take a look at this. So he's going to start off here, he's going to come out, and of course the opposing side already have their Ball is already, way rolled out. They have a pharmacy combo flying above here, and The Hanzo is, which is named Kazu Kid. Remember that we read him, by the way, so every blue ability is our hostile abilities. He's taking some shots, he's just kind of pre-aiming some stuff, and just waiting here. Normally, this is where a lot of people would be pushing up, and that's something that you should be thinking about in this stage, but you want intel. Dropping a sonar here is pretty bad, because you don't know what's going on this left side, and that does it's difficult or very scary for you to cross. If you get a vision over here, you know if people are pushing up, you know what's going on here. You already have LOS here, you have players here, so that's something. He might have dropped it to zone out the side of the tracer, which is fine if he wants to somehow camp that. But I would rather want to have more intel of what's actually going on this left side. Do they have players here? Do they already have dive teams? Remember, we don't know their team comp as of yet. So what do they have on this left side? How far up are they? Are they establishing presence on the point? Can we move over this gap to quickly be active, or should we take a slower approach and wait for our team? We have also swapped our Zarya for a ball, so now we know that we have a ball, so we can at least rely on him to go in and create some space and distract, which should hopefully give him, or Tommy, a little bit more space here to work with. They're going to fly with a pharmacy. He's going to take some pop shots at it. Just pressure it out. That's good. Making sure that they're not pushing too far up or getting anything value. This is a rotation, which comes quite late. He's being very, very safe about it. But the scary thing is that your Hog is already up here. Your Tracer's already pushed up here. And we want you to be up here, potentially having some vision. Being able to set up LOS. That way we can start playing from here. If the enemy team engaged here, or anyway, if they are just playing here, you want to be up here to potentially start pressuring them out from the point, so they're not allowed to establish something and poke us down without us trading. There's a lot of downtime here, and I want that to be a little bit faster. Here, for example, you can see your ball is already putting a lot of pressure on the back line, and your Tracer has established this very late presence, but she's over here. By you being over here, yes, you're taking some pop shots at it, and that's fine. You're getting some vision onto the point, but by not being up here, when your ball is going in and creating a lot of space, and your Tracer's playing up here, there's no pressure from our front line. So Tracer will apply some pressure, the ball might apply some pressure, the opposing side could then fight them, and then you will come in a bit later, as your Tracer and ball has disengaged, and now they can focus on you. Instead of you being active here, as your ball goes in, as your Tracer goes in, they have the option to deal with them, but then you're going to get a lot of value, right? So you're using the space and the resources your team is giving you to disrupt the enemy team, instead of playing far back here, which is a little bit difficult to get some value. Now you're going to hit a really nice shot over here that's fucking really good spam angle, which is some of the things that you will see from Tommy. And one of the things I really want to focus on and show you guys is how calm he is when he's taking a shot. He is spamming, but when he's spamming corners. He's applying pressure. Notice first the pre-aim angle, like he's putting it right here on that angle. First of all, and second, notice the head height that he's going in. This is perfect head height of the Hanzo, and then he's spamming this angle, but he's not spam shooting. Like, he's not spamming every time he's going to take a shot, like at a Pharah. He's not just sending arrows at it at max speed. He's clicking, and he's taking a little bit of time to line up the shot to give it a higher chance of him actually hitting something, which is really, really, really good. Notice same with here, he's kind of pre-aiming a little bit. You can drop the arrow as you know you're not going to pick the Mercy. And this is the time where I would like you to check the left side. You can see that there's a Hog here who's already low. You could use some pressure. There's a Tracer here. There's also a ball way over here. You also know that your ball is not in on this field yet. So that's really good to know. It's good to know that there is 2 tanks and a Tracer here, which you would be able to see from the point. And it's good to know that your Tracer is here engaging these guys, your ball is here engaging this guy, because you know that this Mercy is anyway gonna take you some time to go for them. So instead of maybe chasing this Mercy, which can just glide up to the Pharah again, now that's the whole thing. Maybe you should you can then take, again, with the information you're given, you can make a decision if you rather want to apply some pressure on the Hog, maybe apply some pressure on the Tracer, or at least be aware that they're there, so then you know that your left side might be exposed if this Tracer falls back, because that's the only one currently keeping them here. Or maybe helping your ball with a little bit of damage, so this guy has to disengage, and now your ball can come into the field, right? So by just moving across it to the left here, it gives you that intel that you can use to make a good decision. They're going to rest the break, and you kind of stuck here on the point. You're kind of just waiting for angles, and this is also where, again, if you knew that there was a tracer over here, if you knew there was players over here, you knew that you could potentially maybe establish a little bit of presence on the point. You can walk in here, trade some shots with your bow, you know that they're here, and then if they start to look for hooks or start to push you, you can always jump back. Now that your hog is on the point, he will be starting to fight these guys, Tracer's fighting these guys. I want you on that point, ready to keep pressuring them. That way, these guys can't just dominate your hog, dominate your tracer, force them back, and then take all that space and take the point from you. You will be here up helping you. While you are standing here camping and waiting for somebody to peek an angle, either peeking here or peeking this left side, while you're waiting for that, there's a whole team fight going on that you're not a part of. And therefore, you are essentially just AFKing. It's great that you're looking for pick, and it's good that you have the mechanics to be able to do stuff like that. Which, once again, notice how long time he actually takes on this shot. He's kind of lining it up there. He didn't immediately shoot. He saw the Pharah, and it took him like a split second. And that's not a long time. Notice I still got the kill, but taking that extra thing to actually line it up is so important, right? This is the downtime that we're talking about. Then you kind of over here, you try to take the shot in the break, and there we go. And it took a split second, but that made sure that he landed the headshot and got the pick. Instead of hitting a body shot, now the Pharah is still in the fight, or anything like that, he got the kill, he took his time. More people need to do this. This is a big issue in Platinum and Diamond and even in Masters game. Same here with the Mercy. Notice this. He's waiting for the Mercy. He took the shot. He did a wall climb because he's slow. Now, that also gave him the option, of course, to go into the point and help. We just capped it, so that's fine. The Mercy didn't go out. He knows she's going to the right here. The wall climb also kind of baited a little bit. And then he's taking the shot. And then notice how long time he's using other follow-up rapid fires. I know I'm talking a lot about this, but it's such... I see this so many times when I private coach. By the way, if you want to hire me as a private coach, it's $50 for a 2-hour session. Hit me up in Discord down below. That's a different thing. But it's so important to look at this there, and then he lined up the headshot. He used one of his rapid fire arrows. Now there's 4 left that he can use onto this break and kind of get some shots in. She jumps behind the wall. He kind of empties that into the wall, which is kind of counterproductive to my point, Tommy. But still really good. Good control of the mouse. Same with here. He's kind of lining up. Notice how long time he's using to try to hit these shots. It's really difficult shot to hit from this range, but he's getting very, very close. And it's really good to see him not spamming, and really a good example of like where control is important. Stuff like this. He's trying to hit them. He missed some shots. That's very, very normal. Gonna go over here, gonna preempt some stuff. This is where he's checking you. Now you're doing the good thing. You're checking your left, you're checking your right, you're checking left. You're getting some awareness. We just need to have that to happen the entire time. You would like to know, for example, that this Hammond is coming out here on your right side, so you're never checking your right side. You know there's nobody on left. You know there's people coming up main. What's going on my right side? Is somebody coming there? Is somebody not coming there? Kind of important to know. Playing next to cover, getting a sonar onto the ball, keeping some pressure on here. Bullying the Pharah, which is really good. Keeping good pressure. Keep playing with cover. Notice how he's constantly ducking in and out of cover. Getting pressured by the Sigma. Going back to his cover. I almost would have liked you to drag in here. You know the Sigma's on the point. We kind of want to establish some presence. You can drag in this right side here at the point to boycott the Sigma, which you know ELO. That's something that I would have liked to see you do. That way you kind of pinch ring him between you and the Tracer. That would have been a nice use of your ulti to kind of deny some space. Instead, you're popping your rapid fire, you're helping with the Hammond. This is a little bit of a positioning thing where you need to be a little bit aware. You're playing your cover really nicely here, and then you leave it probably because you want to maybe push in on the objective. That might be the case here. But then you kind of end up standing here in the open area. It's great that your ball went in, which I don't even think that you know unless there might be comms or you might have heard it. If you knew it, then that's of course fine. Your ball is here on the left side, you get the pick. Then you don't really pay attention to your left side, so you don't know where your ball is. Your ball is behind you currently. I don't think that you know that he's there. Maybe you do. You're taking some shots. Maybe you saw it, maybe you heard it, but he is engaging these guys, and that's why you're not getting collapsed on from your right side, because there's still a Sigma here with a lot of health, right? So if the ball wasn't here, then of course he could just put up a shield here and then bomb you, and you don't really gain a lot from leaving your cover here when you could just shot the ball from your cover here and been just fine, also be out of the reach of his swing, and while being able to play this tower, and then you could establish presence on the point. You might have been rotating onto the objective already. If that's the case, then that's fine. You just didn't need to stand this close. You drop vision arrow on the right side, and now you're kind of focusing on the Sigma and killing him. So that's fine. As soon as he dies, you check behind you. You make sure something happens. That's the ball again. He's just gonna fly around. You drop a vision on the other wall to kind of give yourself some knowledge. You're gonna try to poke this guy. This is the kind of stuff that I want to see more of. Notice how he did a very tiny flick there to the left side just to check what was going on. And he did have a vision onto this wall, so that's completely fine. That way he kind of knew what was going on, right? That very tiny flick there does a whole lot. Now, for us, we can't see it because we don't anticipate the flick, so we don't know what we're looking for. But for him, that probably gave him quite a lot of information. At least know that it should at least give him quite a lot of information. He knows where his teams are. He knows that there's nobody close to the bridge here, so he knows he has enough space to work with to continue to bullet this ball for a little bit. Essentially knowing if you have time or not. The Pharaoh starts bombing, so he starts trying to zone, continuously looking for it. This is the good stuff that we want. Constantly applying pressure behind, then applying pressure to the front, behind the front, behind the front. Constantly doing that. Being aware of where the ball is going. Keep on bullying the ball. Keep on spamming. He's going to fire off a dragon, or try to fire up the dragon strike and then get barrage. That was a really great dragon. Really good way of denying some of that space if he had gotten it off. Unfortunately, Farah flanked around the tower and got a barrage onto him, which he probably didn't expect. He's going to swap Doom here, and he's not going to do anything. It's just to see if he can get his body on the point. This is one of those last-minute switches. If his team has stayed alive, potentially he could have gotten on there, and Doom is really good at brawling at this point, so it's a really good swap. He can get there fast, and he can have a lot of impact on that objective as such a close-up character. A lot of trading, a lot of poking. Good check to where one of your players are, applying some pressure from here. You're going to get mined. You're going to duck all the mines, which is really nice. And this is one of those flanks that I personally am not a very big fan of. You're all the way over here alone instead of kind of trying to play over here where you can help with the Pharaoh, you can zone out the Tracer, you can do some stuff with the against the Sigma. I'm not sure. This might have been miscommunication and you can't just roll on with it since you got mined off, but it's not a flank that's very good as you're playing alone, and it's so easy for anybody to apply a little bit of pressure to you. And when you don't have any heals, essentially when you don't have any heals, right, there's not much you can do about it if they keep bullying you, right? So here you are 200 health, you're gonna kill the Tracer, and you're gonna play from it, but that's because the opposing side is not doing a lot to bully you before they get the ball onto you here. So it's very scary, especially as against a ball player, to play alone. You luckily had your hog, but kind of slow down the ball. But if you're flanking alone against a ball, they can just kind of deplete your resources and keep you out of the fight. And because it's so much faster, you can trade with them, and they can just be at your team in like a split second. But you will have to rotate, you will have to get health packs, and it's a very, very risky way of playing the character. Gonna go back, gonna get a good stun onto the ball, gonna really be aggressive here and actually push in. Try to hit some shots. Good pre-aim. Just nice, good control. Gonna bait out the recall with a melee, which is nice. Now, again, you have to kind of do a decision. This is the stuff that, again, is important. That you just want to see more from you, especially when it comes to checking where your team is. You take right, you take left, you take right again. You constantly keep checking those angles. Didn't necessarily need to flash this guy, especially since you're holding it for the ball and the Tracer, as he was uppercutting. A Transcendence, which doesn't really give him a lot. Out of this. This is a Transcendence Zen. You can shoot him as he's falling here and pretty easily do some stuff. You might be scared that he's escaping. I think he's burned all his engages already. Yeah, he's burned all his engages. That's how he got here. So you didn't need to flash him here. You could have held it for the ball, which would have been kind of important when it comes to stalling out this point. But whatever. There we go. I accidentally skipped a little bit forward. Just cleaning up some stuff. These punches to bait out recall is not something that you should do if you play in a lower ELO, as Tracers don't normally have the reaction time to duck them, unless you think that you're playing against a Tracer that's pretty good and somehow knows it. It's something that you can use a little bit in higher ELOs, but shouldn't focus too much on these like baiting techniques in lower ELOs. And I do believe this is the map. If I remember correctly, he's going to try to flux, he's going to kind of fuck it up. You're going to challenge the Sigma, which is really nice, but this is kind of one of those areas where you go in, and once again, there's not a lot of pressure from your team. Your entire team is, once again, if we look at the map, your entire team is playing this right side, and you decide to extend out from your cover here and challenge the Sigma. Very, very, very risky. when you could just have played further back here and still zone the Sigma, as there would be a limit to how many angles he could have taken. So it's very, very risky. On top of that, even if you kill the Sigma, it takes you some time to get back into the fight on the point. So I would have liked you to not push the Sigma. I understand you're just trying to make sure that he doesn't touch the point, but it's kind of one of those fumbles that it will put you here, at least combat roll towards a tower, or at least to cover again. Because again, as we now know, there's a Doom here, there's a Sigma here, and even you know, even if the Doom doesn't come here, the Sigma angles the shield and then bullets you with his left clicks, and then you die. And there's not much you can do here at this point. Even without the Doom coming in, the Sigma should easily be allowed to kill you. And that would be detrimental, because then there's still a Sigma alive, there's still Doom coming in who can attack your Sen, right? Then your Sen dies, the Sigma doesn't die, 2 supports can heal up the Sigma, and all of a sudden they get 2 picks, and essentially even out this fight into a 4v4 instead of a 4v6. So you dying here would be huge if your team doesn't clutch it. And that's kind of like what we've seen here. You were not present a lot in the beginning of the map by playing it very, very tactical, very, very slow. Luckily, the opposing side somehow C9s or something like that. But you were in the beginning, you played it very, very slow, which is good. But if you use a sonar arrow to get a little bit more intel and you look around what your team is doing, you can know where you can push up. That way you're a little bit more active in the beginning. The same goes not camping too far back, kind of camping this corner, which you did with your Hanzo, when you said could establish a little bit of presence onto the point, and you could bullet some of the people here early. When it comes to your McCree, it's a lot the same. Good that you're checking for enemy angles. Remember to do the same for where your team is. And try to stay active throughout the entire fight as much as possible, both with your mouse by constantly moving it around, but also body-wise. Make sure you can join in team fights. Make sure you can back up teammates, or at least use them and use the distraction. Right, when your tanks are engaging or going in and creating space, they are enabling you as a DPS player to do something, and you should be able to. You should follow that up, especially in higher elos where it's so important to do that, because you don't get a lot of engages before the enemy team start making a lot of plays in higher elos. That's really some of the stuff to focus on for him and everybody else, of course, as well. When it comes to other players that was watching this, I highly recommend doing what Tom is doing and being very nice and relaxed and controlled. He's taking his time lining up the shots. He is actually aiming, and he is kind of using. He's already really good mechanics, which he's probably practiced up. And he's using them and actually using them, not spamming, not shooting too fast or anything like that. Nice, controlled, and slowed stuff. Now, again, if you like this type of content, liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel is the best way to tell me that you do. Also helps against the algorithm, has promoted. Share this around with some people. It is great. I appreciate it. My Overwatch content has been doing shit lately. I have no clue why. So if you guys are not interested in this type of coaching, then tell me and I will stop making it. I don't know why those videos are not doing as well, as there's a lot of people that is requesting them. Maybe it's my family that's entitling. I don't fucking know. Anyway, please do take care of yourselves and positive. I wish you guys happy holidays. As always, wear a mask. Wash your hands, especially in these times, especially if you're traveling back home. Make sure, potentially take a test if you're unsure, so you don't bring anything back home to where your parents are or anyone else. And as always, guys, my name has been Jonal. You guys take care of yourself, and as always, keep the enemy in your crosshair.